said in Hebrew is JAFFA, but sometimes in the Bible you will find it as the name called Jopa. So JAFFA and Jopa are the same place. Okay. Now, why the names change? Because now when we're going to read the New Testament, okay, then it was the influence of the Greco-Roman culture. So names were changed. They could not, they heard, what is the name of the place? JAFFA? Oh, JAFFA, Jopa. Okay, so later on, many names were changed. I will give you a lot of inputs about names for the two. I'm going to read now from the book of Acts, chapter 10. If I'm reading from the book of Acts about JAFFA, it means that Jesus never been here. Or it's not mentioned on the text.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay? It's not mentioned on the text. Now, in many places I will tell you that according to my educated guess, he was probably here.
I think so.
When it comes to JAFFA, it's on the road, it's a very important city, but it's a pagan city. Okay? So not everyone at that time, if he's following the Jewish culture and he's following God, would like to go to a city with a zodiac and a Greek mythology and so on. So there's a big question mark if Jesus was here. But there is someone that was here. Let me read from chapter 10 in Acts. It says, at Caesarea, it's not here, it's the next city that we're going to visit, there was a man named Cornelius, and centurion in what was known the Italian regiment. He and all his family were devoted and God-fearing. He gave generously to those in need and prayed to God regularly. One day at about 3 in the afternoon, he had a vision. He distinctly saw an angel of God who came to him and said, Cornelius! Cornelius stared at him in fear. What it is, Lord? He asked. The angel answered, your prayers and gifts to the poor have come up as a memorial offering before God. Now send men to Jopa to bring back a man named Simon who is called Peter.
Ah.
So who stayed here?
The Apostle Peter.
The Apostle Peter. Okay? But as you can see, look at the text how it says. To bring back a man. Wait a second. What do you mean to bring back?
Used to be there.
What happens if you are doing the right thing and you're in the right place,
You get sidetracked.
but then you go to the wrong place?
You get sidetracked.
What happened that someone says, well, he went to the wrong place, we need to bring him back?
You come to JAFFA.
So maybe JAFFA at that time was the wrong place to be, to bring him back from here. Okay? But he says, look at that, named Simon, who is called Peter. What are we talking about two names?
Is it a changing?
There were no surnames at that time.
Jesus changed it.
Simon, that's his Hebrew name.
Yeah.
Simon, Shimon, that's the second son of Jacob. Okay? Simon, that's his name, his Hebrew name. But many people had at that time also a Greek name.
Oh.
Okay, his name was Petros.
Petros.
Peter. What does it mean, Peter? The rock, strong. So many people at that time had a Jewish name or a Hebrew name and a Greek name. My name is Ronen, that's my Hebrew name. But when I grew up, my mother used to call me Ronnie. Okay? Yeah, so someone asked me, what is your nickname? Well, I'm not using it anymore. I think that I need to go back to my original name, so I'm Ronen.
Okay, good.
But the idea was that people at that time also had two names. Okay? He is staying with Simon, I'm talking about Simon Peter. He is staying with Simon the tanner, whose house is by the sea. So we're in JAFFA, by the sea, in the place that was the house of Simon the tanner. So again, we have two Simons, Simon Peter and Simon the tanner. Okay? When the angel who spoke to him had gone, Cornelius called off two of his servants and a devout soldier who was one of his attendants. He told them everything that had happened and sent them to Jopa, to here. Now, about noon the following day, as they were on their journey and approaching the city, Peter went up on the roof to pray. Why do you go to the roof to pray?
It's cooler.
We learned the message of God. Very good. What did we do when we came here? We climbed on a high place. People in ancient times climbed a high place to pray. We're going to see that in almost every place that we're going to visit. He became hungry and wanted something to eat. And while the meal was being prepared, he fell into a trance. He saw heaven open and something like a large sheet being let down to earth by its four corners. By the way, some people think sheet with four corners, that's a prayer shawl that people use today. It contained all kinds of four-footed animals as well as reptiles of the earth and birds of the air. Then a voice told him, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." What's the problem?
He's Jewish. Good.
"Surely not, Lord," Peter replied. "I have never eaten anything impure or unclean." Because he at that time kept kosher.
Right.
Okay? He did not eat unclean animals. By the way, where did the law come from? Leviticus 11.
Yeah.
Go back to the Leviticus 11.
Way
It's
back.
written over there. So he said, wait a second, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
The voice spoke to him a second time. Do not call anything impure that God has made clean. This happened 3 times. By the way, you will notice in the text that every time when it comes to Peter, there is 3 times.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the first time.
Why?
It's like you.
No, but you will see that it's almost a pattern. Every time that we come into Peter, it's 3 times, 3 times, 3 times. While Peter was wondering about the meaning of the vision, the men sent by Cornelius found out there Simon's house was stopped at the gate. They called out, asking if Simon, who was known as Peter, was staying there. While Peter was still thinking about the vision, the Spirit said to him, "Simon, 3 men are looking for you. So get up and go downstairs. Do not hesitate to go with them, for I have sent them." So again, the voice, the angel told him to eat, and the angel told him that they are looking for him. By the way, why he told him to go down and do not be afraid?
Because God was with him.
I'm reading from the book of Acts. That's after the resurrection of Jesus.
The Lord is with him.
There was persecution. People persecuted the followers of Christ. Okay, what was in chapter 2 or 3? Peter is baptized all the people around Jerusalem. So he was afraid that they are looking for him.
Okay.
So the men replied, "We have come from Cornelius the centurion. He is a righteous and God-fearing man who is respected by all the Jewish people. A holy angel told him to have you come to this house so that he could hear what you have to say." Then Peter invited the men into the house to be his guests. So the story that happened here in Jaffa, again, a roof in the house of Simon the Tanner, we don't know exactly where it happened, but this is the place. It's right by the sea. It's the city of Jaffa. That's why many churches were built around this area. In the city of Jaffa, we have Jews, we have Muslims, we have Christians, but we have different denominations of Christianity. So we have Greek Orthodox and Coptic and Armenians. We're going to give you time to walk into the Catholic Church in the next few minutes. But what we're going to do now is look at the watch right now. It's 5 minutes after 9 in the morning. Okay? This is called St. Peter Church, the Catholic Church. It was built in the 18th century, but it was renovated only 20 years ago. By the way, the father, the priest here, is from the Philippines. But the idea is that you can go inside, you can take photos, you can pray.
Going to videotape the church, honey.
In front of you, across the street, but cross the street carefully. You see the sign WC? That's a restroom, and it's for free. You don't need to pay for that. And then behind it, there is a bus, our bus, and Alex the driver. Okay? We're going to give 15 minutes. Okay? 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes. 9:20 on the bus.